Hey, what's going on? So I know it's been like, I don't know, if I had to guess, about a year since I last put a video out. I just came to the realization that I don't really like editing videos and all that, and it adds extra time that I don't have. With my work, having a travel aspect, it's really hard for me to sit down and have the extra time on top of working on all my projects to video and edit and all that. I got just too much going on. But I figured I'd throw this little video together, a little update on where everything's at, what all I've got right now. So I figured I'd start in my shop. It's a wreck right now because I've been working on a project out there. It'll be, I guess, the third vehicle I'll show in this video. So right here is vehicle number one. This is supposed to be my daily, but it started running funny. I ended up bending this rear axle shaft. Found out that I have a Dana 44 because I got two Dana 35 axles that don't work. So I went online, Rock Auto got me a pretty good deal on a Dana 44 rear axle. So rear axle's done, but when I fired it up to make sure it was running true, the engine was running rough still. So I'm really hoping it's a coil rail. I don't really have the time to look into this until probably tomorrow. But so this is my 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee, nicknamed Gracie, because my buddies were looking at it and they're like, man, with the silver paint, the gray trim, and the silver gray Rubicon wheels, it's like a sea of gray. I'm like, Gracie sounds great. So here's Gracie. And then right there is my my motorcycle. I've got it stored in here because I got something cooler stored in my attached garage right now. This is my '06 Kawasaki Vulcan 2000. So it's a 2000cc V-twin Kawasaki motorcycle. At the time, it was pretty funny. I'll talk about my WRX here in a second, but that motorcycle and the WRX have the same size engine. So I thought it was pretty funny. All right, going on out of the shop, I'll show my big project. That's this guy. This is a 1986 Ford F700, 370 gasser motor in it. I had to do a full, there's the old radiator. The radiator blew up, and then it also had just a bunch of oil leaks. Get this hood open. So, brand spanking new radiator. A permanent bungee cord to keep this radiator hose lower than the fill cap. I got to put the reservoir back in still, but this truck got a full in-frame reseal, rebuild, stripped it all the way down to the heads. I did head gaskets, oil pan gaskets, intake, whatever. Pretty much every gasket you can think of, I tossed into this engine because it was leaking from everywhere. The oil spills that it had were pretty aggressive. I'll go ahead and, oh, I just realized I'm holding my phone the wrong way. This will probably be better for YouTube, huh? So I'll put in a little video right here that shows the oil spill that I left, just turning this thing around, going down my driveway, bringing it back up. It's pretty crazy. So I'll toss that in real quick. I'll edit just a few things in there. This thing's leaking a lot of oil. It was parked there facing this direction, so I went around, flipped it around. Check out all these oil spots. There's one, 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 and then it continues on. So, but this is my F700. It's a good little truck. I mean, it did pretty good until it didn't. And we'll get into the stuff in my backyard here. So right here is a 1983, I believe. It's a 1983 Chevy school bus. 83 or 84, don't quote me. It's hard to keep track, but it's a full 30-foot school bus, 40 passenger, I believe. Picked this up for super cheap while I was at a customer in Indiana. So this got a small block Chevy in it. I'm not sure exactly what engine, but I'll have to figure that out, because this engine, it runs fine. It backfires like crazy. I think it's the emissions bullcrap on it. So I'll get working on that at some point. I drove this to work one day actually, and I took all the fellas out to lunch on it, and it was a pretty good time. But then on the way home, one of the rear brakes locked up and actually caught fire here in my backyard. I went through 3 fire extinguishers, and geez, I doused it down with water for probably 15-20 minutes before it cooled down enough for me to feel comfortable and go outside and actually get some dinner. So that was a really fun one. Would not recommend doing that. And then this is the vehicle that everybody keeps asking me about the camera. So this is the 96 Dodge Ram 1500 with the 5.2 in it that I did a video on, which for some reason got somewhat popular. I got a handful of comments on it asking, hey, what's the update? What's the update? This is the update. It has been sitting here for pretty much since I put that video out, so about a year. I just haven't had the time to get around to it. I mean, it runs. I start it up every once in a while just so it's not sitting, because nobody wants to let a vehicle sit. I did get the lowering kit put on it. I don't know if I videoed that, but it sits pretty level. I got the newer Dodge 20-inch wheels on it and a bunch of junk in the bed. So at some point I got to take this up to the dump that's near my house, dump all this stuff out, because this thing will run and go drive up the street and whatnot. I've driven it up and down the street a couple times, but I don't know. I got to look into a couple things before I trust it enough to ultimately get rid of it. And then right here is my woods toy. It's my 96 Cherokee. I've put a couple videos out on this too. What has changed since the last video? Oh, I know what's changed. I rebuilt the engine. It developed a knock out of nowhere. Oh geez, somebody latched the freaking hood. All right, let's see. All right, I gotta pause this video. All right, I'm back. So for some reason the hood latched itself. Maybe I did it, who knows? Oh, that's a new piece of plastic. Let's see, turn this. There it is. When I rebuilt it, I decided it'd be really fun to paint it gold, and it sure was fun. So I did a full rebuild on this. I tore it all the way down, put new bearings in it and everything. So last time I took this sucker out, it was a proper ripper. This thing was a blast. So now the only thing that's limiting me is it'd be nice to get some proper boggers, maybe upsized to 35s. It's sitting on 33 1250s. So maybe I'll keep it 33s and put more aggressive tires on it, or I don't know. Right now, as it sits, I have a full set of 5, spare included, of pretty much the similar aggressiveness tire. So I don't know, we'll see. And then I've got this. This is a camper made out of a 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I planned on putting it with Gracie and then, pulling it around, camping in it, whatever. Changed my mind. Sick of the idea. I don't really want to invest time into it. And I mean, that Jeep's plenty fine enough without having all this extra weight. And the springs required to make that Jeep handle this weight off-road and do all that, it would kind of suck the fun out of off-roading for that Jeep, because them Grand Cherokees, at least the 4-liter ones, are pretty gutless. It's got enough pep by itself to get me where I want to go and all that. I mean, it's a great Jeep. I just wouldn't necessarily tow with it, and that camper isn't necessarily light. I could do work to it to get it lighter or whatever, blah blah blah, but I don't feel like it would be worth the effort or necessary to get it there. So here's my current daily, the 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I made a couple videos on it. I actually, yesterday when I was driving it home, it started running really bad, and I'm like, man, that's not good. So luckily it threw an engine code when it did that, and all it was a throttle position sensor. So I just got done pulling the throttle body off. I replaced the throttle position sensor, I cleaned the IAC, put it back on, and it's never run as good as it's running right now. So that was nice to get done. So this is back to being my daily. It was only down for one day because I just didn't have time to get it until after work today. And so in order to get to work, I pulled out my brand new Challenger here. It's brand new to me, not brand new to the world. It's a 2015 Challenger SRT 392. So basically what that means is that it's a Hellcat with a baby engine in it. So it's the 6.4 naturally aspirated engine, but it's got all the SRT goodies, the SRT seats, the SRT pages. The only thing that 2015 did not get that the 2016 Plus got is line lock from the factory and Android Auto. So this has the nice touchscreen radio and everything, like as nice of an interior as you can get in 2015. But in 2016 they upgraded the radio and they added line lock factory to the SRT 392 and the Hellcat models. So it kind of sucks not having line lock, but it'll save me money in tires, I suppose. So now it's like, where's the WRX? So I spent a good amount of time out of the country for work over in Argentina. And when I got back, I was home for 2 days. And I was driving home from B-dubs and somebody took a left turn right in front of me and totaled the WRX. So that Challenger is the replacement to the WRX. It sucked. It was a painful process because obviously I live in a very well-off area, and every driver on the road has insurance. No, I'd say probably 30% of the drivers on the road in this area are uninsured, and luck of the draw, I got hit by an uninsured motorist. I'll put a little video right here of the wreck. It's pretty crazy, but that's the way she goes. And I guess while I'm at it, while I'm, giving a full update, I finally got this big old trailer. I'm walking out to it. That's my car trailer. It has not had a load on it yet. Well, it has not had a vehicle on it yet, I'll say. So when I got it, I wish I took a picture because it was bad. This coupler was, it was a 2-inch ball. It was a 2-inch ball. This was the factory coupler, welded on and all that. They bolted the new 2-inch coupler on here and just I guess sawzalled off the old one. So I went ahead, or I guess me and a buddy from work cleaned up the face. We added this 14,000 pound adjustable 2 5/16 ball coupler on there because I want this to be the strongest point of this whole trailer, because I mean, if something's going to fail, it better not be what secures it to the truck. I also went ahead and I put a new trailer jack on it because it had 0 when I bought it. And I also wired it up. I wired it up 4-pin. 7-blade would have been better, but I don't have trailer brakes on this, and I didn't really plan on putting reverse lights on it, so I didn't really see a point in going through the trouble of wiring up 7-pin, although you could make the argument that it's the same amount of work. Whatever. So right now it's got this deck, it's got a deck on it, it's got a coupler that I could trust, it's got wiring, chain, jack, it's ready to tow. I just haven't had a need for it quite yet. And here's my old motorcycle trailer. I had it for forever. I call it a motorcycle trailer. I've probably used it more for pulling firewood than motorcycles. We'll go into my shitty shed. Get my lawnmowers. So I actually had to widen the doors of this. You can see I am not a woodworker, but I made it work with wood. So this was the original door, so I extended it 6 inches on both sides, because that mower back there has a 52-inch deck, which is way too big for my yard. I made it work for a little while, but I got sick of that and got this guy, which has the same horsepower motor, with a 42-inch deck. So I've been using this one. I need to sell it and get rid of it, but it's got the trailer ball on it. This one does not. So I've been using this mower still to move around that camper and move these trailers around, because it's a lot easier to maneuver these trailers and everything with this little tiny mower than it is for me to get a Jeep back here, or a truck, or anything else with a hitch receiver. So yeah, that's where this shop and everything sits right now. It's not fast moving by any meaning of the word. Just too much going on, too much to do, too little time to do it, basically, which I assume is how everybody lives, right? So I don't know. I got to get Gracie finished up, hopefully this weekend before I go on vacation. We'll see if that happens. I got to get this. got to get the F700 finished up. Let's see. The engine runs great. The cooling system cools. The only thing wrong with it now is that the charging system decided to stop working. And if I'm being honest, I don't even know if the charging system ever worked in the first place. So we'll see. We'll see if it's just an alternator, if it's just wiring. The wiring on this thing is a mess. So I don't particularly want to dig into it, but you got to do what you got to do, and this got to get done. So after I finish the charging system, I got to put in some gauges, because all of the gauges don't work on the inside except for the speedo. I don't know if I got a tack or not. See, I bought all these parts and I just forget what I have. Let's see. So I've got, oh yeah, so I've got a tack, and then what is that? A coolant, battery, and oil pressure. So get that done. I've got some wiper blades for it. Get some wiper blades on it so you can actually clean the windshield. I was going to put lights on it too, but I'm actually thinking about selling it as soon as I'm done working on it. So as soon as the gauges are on there and I trust it to drive round trip down to my buddy's house in Kentucky and back, which is about 70 miles or so, then I'll put that sucker up for sale, get it gone, and get a brand new to me 1990, I think it's a 1999, maybe 2000, who knows, F350 7.3 5-speed with a 12-foot flatbed. That'll be a good truck. That's the truck I originally wanted, but I ended up with the 700 because the F350 wasn't available in time, basically. So get this thing finished up, get it out of my life, get that newer truck in, because this thing also honestly is kind of unrealistic to just be driving around. This thing maybe gets 10 miles to the gallon. It takes up 14 parking spaces. So that bed is, man, I can't remember. Oh, so the overall truck length is 25 feet. And I think the bed is, I don't know, 15 feet of it, if I had to guess, something like that. So it's just impractical. It's fun. It's a fun truck to drive. I really love driving big trucks, but I mean, why have this and a school bus and both of them be broken? So anyway, that's the shop update. I'll go ahead and get this video thrown together with pretty minimal editing, just so, you know, people can stop commenting, asking what the heck's going on with that Ram. It's sitting there. It'll get done at some point. Maybe I'll make another video on it. I reckon I ought to do a startup video on it, because it starts out, it sounds pretty decent with that cutout that I put in it. But we'll see. We'll see if I ever get around to it. Thanks for watching, I guess.